Hey guys, it is an absolutely glorious day. Look at that, and there's a nice breeze. This is actually beautiful. Summer is not over. There's a few days of rain and I thought, oh okay, here we go, summer's over. Nope, good weather back again. This has for sure been the best summer in Ireland ever. I know other countries it's too hot. We never get that hot, so like we have had little bits of rain and stuff and it's just been so nice. Anyway, I'm actually here to say that I'm going to give Kass his first jumps at home with me, and I'm also going to be jumping Delphi, my 4-year-old, whom I bought as a foal, and this will only be her like 4th time jumping under saddle, so she is very new to it. However, in 2 weeks time, they're both going to, Delphi's going to her first show and Kass is going to his first show with me, so we better get going with this whole jumping thing with Delphi. I've just been doing loads of flat work and like poles and everything, and she's really sensible. So she's going to jump at home today. Then later this week she's going to go to arena hire, and then next week she's going to go to arena hire again, and then she's going to go to her show. So hopefully she'll be ready. And then Kass, I'm going to jump today and go to arena hire later this week. He has been to shows before, so he should be better, like as in more experienced, but he is very careful, so he probably just will need a little bit of remembering how to compete, and also with a new person and everything. So I'm very excited. I'm going to set up some jumps. Oh shit, I'm going to take off this jumper because I'm actually really warm now. I've just come outside and it's like suddenly even warmer than it was. And maybe I'm going to come indoors this. Now you can see me. So I'm going to set up some jumps. It'll be something fairly simple, lots of like guide pulls on the ground, because I like them to learn that they always jump very straight from the very beginning. And hopefully we have a good experience. Maybe I'll put a little filler in there, maybe like a water tray or like some of the planks, and just get them getting used to that. And fingers crossed, all goes well. I'm excited. I think I'll ride, yeah, I don't know who I'm gonna ride first. Maybe Kass. Okay, I've got a nice little setup. I will show you the kind of course that I've set up. So this little cavaletti is just to pop them over. We have a cavaletti, 4 strides to a vertical with some nice straightening pulls there. We come around over this one, which has some fillers either side, which can go underneath. And then it can be a bending line to that to practice, you know, if they land on the wrong leg, we have this cavaletti to encourage them to do a flying change, which is nice. And then around here, over this oxer, have a little pull here to stop the drift. And then around and over this plank with, again, 2 straightening pulls to finish. So it's really a day about working on their rideability, the lines to the fences. Okay, it's not about creating this amazing jump. It's more about, if I get into a ring, will I have all the controls and everything that I need to jump around the course, and do I need to work on anything in particular? And then with a few fillers mixed in to see how they respond to that. So I will get Kass and get him tacked up, and I will catch you guys very shortly. Sorry Delphi, you are second to go. Look at this dirt of her nose. They had the farrier, so they always get like a little lick. Sorry, you look a bit silly now. Now here's the boy. Now the only thing that I should mention is that he hasn't been ridden for 3 days. Because I was at the Dublin Horse Show and I had a girl come in to like do the yard and ride the client horses, because they're paying clients. You're not. So he was not on the list of horses to be ridden. So we'll see. Basically, it's not going to be the most relaxed you're ever going to see him, but hopefully it'll still be interesting. I'll be able to talk through a bit of like the rideability stuff that I'm working on with him, because I'm really working on like getting him to move away from each leg, and this will be a nice way to practice that with the turns and everything. But we'll see how responsive he is, because he's going to be fresh. So, but today was the only day Dad was free to video me jumping, so it's just going to happen today. I think it's perfectly acceptable for a horse to get their back up and be a little fresh if they haven't been ridden in, you know, it's actually 4 days, not gonna lie. No, doesn't mind at all. I often get on them on the hard ground if they might be a bit fresh, because they tend to not buck you off, touch wood, on the hard ground. But he's literally just walking around like a lamb. So, good boy Kass, that's something off the checklist. Can be ridden after a 4-day break. So we were starting with a bit of a warm-up with Kass. There are moments where he's light, his nose is slightly poking in front of the vertical, and then there's times where he is behind the vertical. This is an ongoing thing that I'm trying to work on with him. Basically, when I take the contact, instead of slowing and sitting on his hooks, he curls behind the vertical. So it's just taking time to doing a little bit of half hold and then releasing the pressure when he sits. And it is improving. And here he is coming over this little cavaletti. I'm doing it on the circle to encourage him to land on the right lead because he does tend to land on the left lead. So I just want to work on the strength and balance on that right canter lead and getting him bending around my inside leg. Sometimes he gets a little bit hard and strong in the mouth and I just need to really ask for that inside bend, and then he softens and is good. It just needs to come quicker. His rider was a man, so I think sometimes it just takes a little bit of a stronger aid for him to really understand what I'm asking. But like slowly he's kind of getting used to me, and you know, everyone rides so differently, and especially for young horses it's such a big change to go from one rider to another. Here on the left rein he actually bends quite well to the point where he slightly falls out, so I just need to make sure that inside shoulder is not falling out, and then that leaves us a little bit far off the pole there where he drifts out. So here I'm coming around just to the jump on its own, just in case he, you know, over jumped it or was spooky or anything, but he's actually very, very sensible with the jumps, which I was very happy about, because if you saw the last video of me introducing him, he was jumping like very, very high over just cavaletti, so I thought maybe when there were jumps he would be a little bit over jumping, but he was so sensible. Here obviously he's very low and very behind the vertical, and it's over the cavaletti, 4 nice even strides. I can just have a soft contact and over the jump, and then this is where you can see he always lands on the left lead after jumps. So this is just a strength thing. He's a baby, he's one-sided. I just need to be very diligent and making sure that we do lots of jumping on the circle and getting him landing on that right lead, but it'll take time and there's no point getting stressed about it. So now I'm doing the actual course. This is his first time jumping these fillers, and really, really sensible. I was delighted, but he really ran off afterwards and it took quite a lot of hand to get him to soften. But as you can see, as soon as he softens, I soften my hand forward because I want him to ride with a very loose contact and I don't want to have to always be pulling and then putting him behind the vertical. Again, here after the jump, he runs a little bit and gets very strong, and this is where you can see he gets a bit locked and won't bend to the right. So I do a circle, soften, and as soon as he softens, I soften my hand and we go back to this nice relaxed canter. So I don't want to cause a row or stress him out. I'm just going to show him by using the circles and using the inside bend. No, that's not what we do. You know, we do it like this and then it'll become normal. Here he gets a little locked again and I do a circle, but that cut off. So then I jump the course again a little bit bigger, and this time, you know, you can see there is some improvement. He does the nice 4 strides again lands on the left lead, but does his change straight away. Gets a little lock for literally a stride and then softens, which is very nice. Here he lands much better. I do have to take a little half hold, but he comes back to me very, very quickly, and I'm able to put my hands forward and relax the reins and let him just canter nice and calmly. And then again, after this oxer, he, you know, still runs a little, but it's a lot less, and he really learned from the last time, which is really nice to have a horse that, you know, really understands, like, you know, like that's much, much better than the last time. I have a nice soft, you can see there's a little loop in my reins. So I couldn't be happier. He learned a lot. I learned a lot about him, and yeah, there's lots to like. Now that is Kass all jumped. He is very sweaty. It is actually very hot. So sorry, Kass, for riding you right in the middle of the day. Yes, I feel like I really learned more about what to work on with him, and I do feel like he really improved as the course went, as we repeated the exercise. I'll have done a voiceover, but basically my main takeaway is that on the left rein he really drifts out, on the right rein he falls in, just because he's just stiffer bending to the right. And you also see that where he always lands on the left lead. He does a lovely flying change, but we need to do a lot more like jumping on the circle and just build up that strength and that suppleness to the right, because he's obviously like people, horses are kind of one-sided, and when they're babies you just kind of have to teach them to be a little bit more even. Like obviously he just came out a bit better on the left, and we just need to slowly work on that right rein as well. And then the other thing was that after the jumps he would run a little bit, and I was just taking a hold, and as soon as he softened or relaxed I would just give the rein again, with the goal to just be able to canter around with very, very light contact, because that is like how I like to ride them. And it also means that he's less behind the vertical when I'm not having to hold the contact as much. He starts to stretch a little bit, which is very nice. And I do feel like the second round was significantly better than the first one, you know, like he either landed a lot more balanced, or it only took one little half halt and he would really slow down and relax. So yeah, it's all kind of getting there, and like it's just all little things to work on, which is my favorite part of young horses. And the jump feels really good as always, and I was really pleasantly surprised that he wasn't like silly over jumping, because he kind of silly over jumps poles on the cavalettis, but I was happy that when they were actual jumps he was like, okay, no, I'm not going to be crazy, because we don't want them over jumping like crazy all the time. It's not good for their body, it's not good for their confidence, you know, like a horse that's doing that, you know, sometimes it's because they're not confident, and I don't want that. I want him to be really, really confident. So I am very, very pleased with him, and yeah, onwards and upwards to arena hire on Friday, and I will give him a walk off, and then we will get Delphi, who, man, I have no idea how she's gonna be. Yeah, she's only jumped a couple of times, so we'll just jump some nice small jumps, just walk around our straightness, make sure she's confident, happy, and maybe put up one or two of them. But yeah, I'll just play it by ear with her. Look at that handsome boy. Hello, I'm trying to show them how cute you are. He says, I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed, I'm tired. Good lad. No, he just wants to follow me around. Good boy. Okay, so I've got Delphi half tacked up, but I want to talk about two issues that we have currently, because you're going to see both of them in this video. The first, I'm just being dramatic, but my horse is sun bleached. Like, what the hell? This happened to our horses in Australia. This doesn't happen in Ireland. But yeah, she's, her legs are still black, but her, like, back is, like, see how she's got these, like, lighter colour? Her back is, like, this orangey, sun-bleached colour. It's very, very upsetting. She's not a true black horse. She was bay when she was a foal. Actually, I have no idea about colour genetics. I presume true black horses are black when they're foals. Yeah, I feel like that was a stupid thing to say. Anyway, she's not true black. She was bay when she was a foal. However, she is very black now. Except now, because she's been bloody bleached. Now she's like this gingy, and not like the nice ginger, because I love ginger hair. But this is like, it doesn't look good. And our second issue is that she is so fat. She's so fat. And that's not even the worst bit. The worst bit is that because she's so fat, the saddle keeps sliding up onto her neck. Genuinely, like, you know when you ride those little fat ponies in the saddle, you need like a crupper because the saddle slides forward? We're at that point. So when the saddle slides forward in this video, guys, I don't like it either. But honestly, she just needs to lose weight and it'll go back to normal. But at the moment, she's so fat. We reseeded lots of our fields and there's a lot of grass. And she is thriving. So don't judge her potato-esque body, okay? Next year is going to be your really fit year. This year is just her having a good time and going to some shows. Anyway, let's get going. Now we're on to Miss Delphi. So Delphi, I'm actually saying to my dad, but you can't see her, but I'm saying, you should look how balanced she is. She's so easy, because she is. She's just so simple. I can canter around with this loose contact. She just carries herself in a nice natural frame. And here she does a little flying change of her cavaletti that we've been practicing. She's very responsive to, you know, the new bend. She bends very well to both the right and the left, understands the inside leg. Here I'm saying she could be an American hunter because you can just go around with this loose rein. She keeps her head in the same kind of position and she's very good. It is a little bit easier to get complacent when the horse is like this. And, you know, when you do take a pull, you need to make sure they are listening to you. And there is a couple of times when I'm jumping that I take a whoa and she doesn't really listen. I kind of bring her back and just reinforce that. But as in general, she's a pretty sweet girl. So I ride her around. I just trot over this little plank because she's never done it before. And you can see she puts her little eyes on it. She gives a little jump, but she's very, very sweet. and canters away really, really sweetly. So I decided just to come around once more and just stay in the canter. And the main thing with me is like, I don't really want them jumping over the wings, you know, kind of crazy. I'd much rather they started very confident and relaxed. And I know the jump will come. Like, we've loose jumped her and she jumped like a freak. So I know she has the jump in her. So yeah, when she canters like that, over jump, it doesn't look very inspiring, but I don't worry about it anymore. I've had so many horses jump very, very average as young ones, and they all develop and turn into jumpers. So here we canter down the line, beautiful even 4 strides. Like, this horse has done no kind of distances or course riding or anything. There she landed on the wrong leg, changed in front but not behind because she doesn't have her changes. But I will say our trot and recanter is very, very slow. So it takes a little while to trot and it takes quite a while to pick back up the canter. She just needs to get a little bit sharper off those aids, especially if we're going to be jumping some courses. And here again, you know, I'm really asking for trot, and she's kind of like, I'll just canter slow. I'm like, no, I need you to do trot and recanter quickly. So that's something that I will just sharpen up before we go to the show. Here she gets a cute little jump over the oxer, lands in the correct lead, which is very good. Then I come around and just do the filler to the oxer, and she gave not an amazing jump there. Again, this is what I mean. It's very small, but even by the end of the session, you'll see that she gives some good jumps. And then here she comes around and gives a slightly better feeling. So these jumps went up a little bit, and I think it just kind of took her a moment to understand that they were bigger, because then I come around and just do the oxer and the plank again, and suddenly it's like, oh, they're bigger, and she gives a much, much better jump and a really good feeling. So I was very pleased with that. Again, landed on the incorrect lead. She did try to do a little change here. You know, to recanter was a little bit better, but, you know, needs to be sharper. Did a nice circle to get her balanced, and then she gives me a really good feeling over this plank. I just put out a nice ground line for her, and she gave a really good feeling. So very, very pleased with her. She improved all the time. Yay! Guys, how cute is she? I just got down to show my dad something, so I'm just going to finish walking her off on the ground. So happy with her. So happy with her. So yeah, as you can see, she's quite like a laid back, very easy, very simple 4-year-old. I really like them to go like that when I break them in. I think it, like, for me, it's like the big advantage of getting an unbroken horse is that you can do all the work and it's so much easier. But yeah, you can just ride her around with like no contact, and she's starting to do her changes over the cavaletti. Obviously she doesn't have them on the flat yet at all, but I was very happy. She jumped around the course once, very like cruisy. She's jumped, although she's only jumped like under saddle like 4 times, I do lots and lots of cavalettis, so she kind of knows all about that, and she knows it's like not a big deal, like, so she just kind of didn't really care. She's just popping over them. Then we put them up slightly. Like, she really hasn't jumped big before, and this is not big, it's literally 80 centimeters, but yeah, for the first time she kind of actually looked at the fence. She gave a really, really good jump over the oxer, and then I came around and just did the oxer and the plank again, and she really jumped. So I think that she just wasn't paying attention when they were small, and then once they kind of went up a little bit, she was like, okay, I could do a little bit of this. So I'm so chuffed with her. That was like a really good feeling to get. I don't know what the video looks like because I haven't watched it yet. Don't roll, please, with your saddle on. But yeah, I feel like as long as, with young horses, as long as you get a couple of really good feelings, like everyone says this, not just me, like all the top riders in interviews I've seen and stuff, they all say, like, anyone that produces young horses, if you get a few good feelings, just keep going with the horse, because if they can do it once or twice, it will develop to a point where they always give a good jump. When they're babies, you're going to get bad jumps, you're going to get great jumps, you're going to get jumps where they fall over the jump. So yeah, I think like she's so relaxed, but then when push comes to shove, I think she's going to be a proper one. Yeah, if you could just grow another hand, that would be great, because I love a really big horse, and she's about 16 hands. I'm more like a 17 hand kind of gal, I'm sorry, but very, very chuffed with her. And look, she's just like the cutest, most like easygoing, sweetest horse. We're so lucky to have you, my angel. Okay guys, I might leave the video there. I hope you enjoyed watching the 4-year-old's schooling. So yeah, with her, I think our biggest thing is still just the turns, as all babies are just a little bit wobbly on the turns. So, and also with her keeping the momentum through the turn. She used to be really hot and like, I thought she'd be really, really sharp, but she's actually not sharp at all. Like she's forward going, but she does get tired. But just keeping that momentum through the turn, I think would be key for her. And then again, just letting her make the mistakes, riding her to the jump with these long, loose rein, loose contact, let her get in deep, let her knock them. It doesn't matter. That's the best way for them to learn. So I will catch you guys when I bring them both to Arena Hire. I'm gonna vlog that as well, so you can see how, look at her. Guys, this horse is so cute. Yeah, you can see how what we did completely goes out the window when we go to Arena Hire in a new place, and they'll be all excited and yeah, forget everything that they ever learned. But that is part of young horses and I love it.